All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bob Gaines. I'm a Senior Director for Sciences and Regulatory Affairs at the Association for Accessible Medicines. And I'm going to do a recap of day 2 and those breakout sessions that we just came from. Got to make sure this clicker works. It's not. I said it was easy to with the green button. There we go. Is that it? Okay, there we go. All right, so hopefully everybody enjoyed those breakout sessions. Anytime we get industry, academia, and FDA together, I think that's a big win for everybody, and good things are bound to happen. So today we built on day 1, and we moved from a risk-based reduction of unnecessary dissolution testing to a forward-looking paradigm where dissolution becomes a predictive, clinically anchored regulatory tool. Breakout's focused on defining evidence standards for low and very low-risk products and also strategizing implementation. And some of the highlights, so session 4 emphasized that for low and very low-risk products, dissolution testing should be applied when clinically relevant, with risk-based frameworks supporting reduced or alternative testing based on minimal fit-for-purpose data aligned to product performance rather than legacy QC expectations. And session 5 established a life cycle risk-based paradigm in which dissolution evolves into a model-informed control strategy, emphasizing clinically justified safe spaces, fit-for-purpose testing proportional to risk, and increasing reliance on predictive modeling while highlighting ongoing challenges in global alignment, model acceptance, and implementation. In the 2 breakout sessions, we had breakout sessions E and F, and I'll kind of get through some of the details of those. It's like hot off the press. But breakout session E was defining low and very low risk products in biopharmaceutics. And it was, talked about the framework based on physical, chemical, and clinical evidence. It discussed criteria for using disintegration in place of dissolution, focusing on when dissolution is not clinically meaningful. There was exploration of the need for practical framework to classify low versus very low risk biopharm risk beyond traditional BCSs. Emphasized that fit-for-purpose dissolution methods should demonstrate relevance to product performance. There were discussions on defining evidence needed to justify low-risk designation, and there's a need basically for global regulatory alignment as key for success for application of reduced testing approaches. And the theme was basically to enable simplified fit-for-purpose approaches for low-risk products in that session. Breakout session F was strategizing the future, implementing advanced risk-based control frameworks. Implementation is where the rubber meets the road for all of this. And there were discussions focused on defining the minimum evidence package needed to establish clinically relevant dissolution safe space. There was exploration on how QC and clinically relevant methods could coexist within a control strategy. There were discussions of thresholds for decision-making evidence and how expectations scale with risk and life cycle stages. There was examination of barriers to implementation, including regulatory uncertainty and lack of harmonized expectations. And then finally, identified priorities. There was identification of priorities to accelerate progress, shared submission expectations, case examples, and cross-agency collaboration. And some of the key takeaways were, low risk doesn't mean no science. It means right size science. Dissolution is not always clinically relevant. Risk-based approaches enable flexibility, but do require guardrails. Clinical relevance is becoming the anchor. Modeling and mechanistic understanding are central enablers. Evidence packages should be fit for purpose. Opportunity to reduce burden without compromising quality. And finally, alignment will drive implementation. So I joined the planning team well after all of the heavy lifting was done, but I do want to acknowledge them. Hailing, Jim, Andreas, Helena, Amelia, and others who I may have forgotten. I wanted to thank everybody for putting this together. As I mentioned, it's, the last couple of years, last year and then, kind of on the heels of the pandemic, it's been hard to get large groups of people with such expertise together to work on something so important. So I wanted to thank that group for all of their hard work. And with that, I will pass it to Commander Jeffrey Wu, who is the Office Director of Office of Product Quality 1 and the Office of Pharmaceutical Quality at the FDA CEDAR. Thank you. The green is forward. Okay, it's back.